Hi everyone, it's Gerald with you, Grand Seiko guy, and today I'm going to be putting a new listing on the website, and it's one of the watches that you see in front of you here. It's actually the one on the left. Now, these are a very interesting set of watches. Just actually have one missing from the complete set, because I think we actually recently sold the Green Day date. But these are the 6145 and 6146 8050s. So people who have been following the channel for a while will already know 6145 is a 61 Grand Seiko series movement with a date, and the 6146 is the 61 series Grand Seiko movement with the day and the date. And these watches, again, there's just one missing from the complete set of 7, which is missing here, which should be a green one like the one above. These watches don't appear in any of the vintage Seiko catalogues. What I'm showing them on, though, is a copy of the Seiko Sales monthly newsletter that was sent to dealers each month to give them notice of new releases and marketing ideas, store layouts, point of sale advice, things like that. And these watches actually appear in this issue. It's the only official publication where they are detailed. I don't believe these were on sale for very long. They're very, very interesting watches in that originally they all, every one of these would have been originally supplied on the bracelet that we see on the watch on the left. Additionally, they have very interesting design cases which are slightly reminiscent of the 61 series VFA cases. And finally, they originally also all had faceted crystals. We'll take a look at the faceted crystal in detail when we just go and focus on the watch that's going to be listed. But I thought it would just be fun just to put 6 of the 7 up here to start, just to show you the variety that there was. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just pause and remove the 5 watches that we're not going to be talking about today. I don't think any of these 5 are actually listed on the website. Possibly I think possibly the white day date is, but the other ones aren't. If you do fancy any of these pieces, do drop us a line and we can discuss that. Okay, let's just pause for a moment. Okay, so obviously I'll put the beauty shot on the listing on the website, as well as in this video later on we'll insert the studio shot of the studio video, I should say, of the watch, where you'll be able to see it probably better than we do here. The brown, so this is a brown gradient. It's so you can see that in the center of the dial it's very, very nearly white, and then it gets a darker brown towards the edge of the dial. And this is by far the rarest of all 7 of these 6145 and 6146 8050s. I guess, you know, brown dials probably weren't, well, they're not that common even today. I think from memory that this must be the only brown dial vintage Grand Seiko. As I said, all of these watches were only detailed in the single issue of Seiko Sales. I don't believe they would have been on the market for a very long time. And they were all, I think, I'm just quickly checking off camera here, the dates on the other watches. I think they're all made within the same quarter, maybe even just the same couple of months, April and May of 1972. I've just looked at those other 5 watches, and 3 of them are from May 1972, and the other 2 are from April 1972. So very short production run. As I say, these are very, very collectible. There's a bit of a thing about faceted crystals at the moment, getting a lot of inquiries for watches with faceted crystals. It just really adds some extra interest to the watches. And what I want to do now is just show you that facet as we move the watch around. You can see there's vertical facets there running down the side of the watch, and it just gives this very interesting aesthetic to the piece. You can see that the dial has raised indices, hour indices, which means the hand, so the minute hand and the second hand that you can see there, are obviously short, because otherwise they would bump into those raised indices. So another interesting design detail there. As I mentioned before, the case is a similar sort of shape to the VFA, the 61 VFA cases. I just want to talk about the condition of this watch. The dial is absolutely fantastic. This is one of those watches where You know, if you're a case guy, you're going to pass this up. If you're a dial guy, then you're probably going to be very interested in this one. The case has been polished, but it's been polished well. When I say well, what I mean is it hasn't sort of taken away the sharp edges of the case. And if you'll probably see this better on the video that I'll be dropping into this in a moment. You'll be able to see the condition of the case. But one thing to point out, and I'll just bring in let's just move that to one side. I'll just bring another one as a comparison. Is what you can see here is the original finishing on these facets of the case between the lugs was brushed. On this example, that has been polished, as you can see there. So it's lost that original finishing. But as I said, these brown dial variants are so rare that I think, you know, even with the case in this condition, it's going to be of interest to collectors. I only know of one person who actually has a complete full set of these. As I said, very, very hard to get hold of. We've seen a couple of brown dials in the last 5 years, but in very, very poor condition. This is the first one has come up. So only the third example of a brown dial that we've seen in the last 4 or 5 years, and this is the one that we felt was probably worth offering to people. If we have a look at the case. The case has got little dings on it. It's got signs of wear and tear, and there's some wear on the case back there in terms of the case back medallion. The date on this one is 2/4, so this one is also from April. And this is the original strap, the original bracelet, I should say. But unfortunately, as we very often find with watches coming out of Japan, a lot of the links had been removed. Now, let's just show the strap. You can see it has the original GS buckle, which you can see there. Just focus on that. But a lot of links have removed. In fact, when this watch came to us, it had this additional sort of extension link. This isn't obviously an original Seiko piece, but somebody at some point has received this watch, and then the bracelet was just too short, so they put an extension link on it. In the description on the website, I'll measure this and put the length of it. So there you go. So I'm going to keep this one, this video relatively brief. Let's just run the studio video now. So here you'll get a very good understanding as to the condition of the case, and also be able to see those facets in a better light. So here we go. You can see there on the edge of the case there's some slight dings. So this watch has obviously seen quite a bit of action, I would think, over the last 48 years, there or thereabouts. So you can see that thick faceted crystal, and then just coming around the other side, some slight marks there on the edge of the bezel, and again on the edge of the case. But as you should be able to see from the video, the dial on this is absolutely fantastic. A gorgeous, deep, rich brown colour towards the edge of the dial, and then gradient into a white in the centre. Okay, so let's come back to this video. So there you go. This watch, as with all watches, if you're interested in it, please do let us know. There's a link in the description directly below that'll take you to the website, and then from there you can just fill out the contact form. This watch hasn't been serviced yet. All watches now, what we do is once we have a firm commitment for a watch, we then send it off to service. We've simply got far too many watches in stock at the moment to get them all serviced at once. So this will have a complete strip down to the individual movement parts, and then a rebuild and regulated. So the watch will probably be ready to go out about a week or so after someone expressing some interest. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as I said, the listing will be on the website from the link below. I'll also add in the scans from the 1972 December Seiko sales, so you can see where these watches were originally first published.